Good morning, my beautiful TikTokers and coffee clubbers. It's nice to see you this beautiful Saturday morning. I hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day. Hey, Shelby Boo, Mama is over it. Kentucky, it's nice to see you. Kimmy, how many people are coming in? Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. We have a few things to go over. Just a Girl Ann, it's nice to see you. Jen, good morning. Alicia, it's nice to see you. R, hello. Kimmy too, it's nice to see you. Patty, people are coming in, but I can't read all their names. It's nice to see you all. Hey, Patty, good morning. So you guys know the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He disappeared when he was 15 years old. Hey, Em, it's nice to see you. Kathy, Betty, Donnie, nice to see you. Hey, Casey, good morning. Headed out in a moment to Aqua Boot Camp. Oh, that sounds interesting, JD. Aqua Boot Camp. I've never heard of that before. Well, I hope you have fun. I hope it gets some of that energy out. Good morning, Donna. It's nice to see you guys. So I haven't been over here in just a little bit. I dropped a live about a gentleman. I think we talked about it on this. Good morning, Cutie Patootie. It's fun. Oh, that sounds like I've never heard of aquatic boot camp. I know it has to do with the water, but definitely don't know what that is. So have fun. It's nice to see you, and I'm glad you got a chance to say good morning. So Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, he disappeared from inside his locked home. We have some new information, some new details. There was a remains found about 2 hours to 2.5 hours from his home. Even though the DNA results are not back in, Jennifer Coffindaffer kind of identified it, the person possibly as a Cody Ramsey. And looking into that, it does look like it will be Cody. He went missing on the same road, Westall Road, right out on the outskirts of that state park, Mount Roosevelt. So I really believe it is going to be him. Now, there were some interviews that came forward that many of us hadn't watched because it came from a hate channel, and it was a past co-worker for Terry Bowersox. And that particular live indicated that Terry Bowersox, this was an employee that used to work with Terry Bowersox, explains how nasty and dirty they get, including but not limited to messing with somebody's vehicle, popping people's tires. We know that Nina talked about Terry having a baseball bat at the front door when she was trying to get her child. And then we find this bombshell information about how Terry had said utterances multiple times about how he wanted to hire somebody and disappear her. That's some interesting stuff. I did a live over on YouTube, Was Nina's Life in Jeopardy? If you guys would like, go over there, check that out. We should put all the receipts out related to that. And I've spent the last couple days going over comparisons because a lot of the hate channels say, I'm just picking on the mom and stepdad, right? And I'm not focusing at all on Seth Rogers. So you know what we did? We took two different interviews. One was on March 11th. Seth did an interview with a news organization, and Chris and Katie did an interview with WSMV, both on this or something. It was interviews. Maybe it was 3-4. It was March 4th. There was a mainstream media interview done by Seth and one done by Chris and Katie, and we compared them, and you can see very clearly the demeanor difference between them. But then we also did it again on March 20th. So Seth Rogers on March 20th had an interview with Nancy Grace. Well, the Proudfoots had an interview with Smiley Stories World. So we compared those interviews together related to demeanor, behavior, state of mind. What was the primary purpose for those interviews? In Seth's interviews, it was very clear it was about his son. in the Katie and Chris interviews, it was very clear it was about them and everything that they were going through. And this is a month after their child had disappeared, and shortly before a month. And they're more concerned. They didn't care about, they were talking about what they were going through and how horrible their life is. They never even mentioned what possibility Sebastian's going through. How cold he must be, how hungry he must be, how scared he must be. They didn't care. They didn't care. So guys, yesterday was Valentine's Day. My mommy was my Valentine. I took her out and celebrated the day with my mommy. I took her to a steak dinner and bought her whatever the heck she wanted because she's my mommy and I love her and she is my biggest Valentine ever, right? She'll always be my Valentine. She'll always be my favorite Valentine. So I just wanted to let you guys know that Bullhorn Betty didn't leave Mama Bullhorn out of the love festivities. The love festivities. All right, we're going to get to some other information. So the Unscrupulous PI, we call the UTI on YouTube, okay? This is the Unscrupulous PI that was hired by the mom and stepfather of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, and I won't even give him a plug. He's a piece of garbage, and he's being sued, okay? He's being sued by a bunch of people, including me. So he's here thinking he's got this down. The only thing, because what happened is he's fired. Many people don't realize the Unscrupulous PI has been fired from the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case by the mom and stepfather out of all the information and the problems that he's caused them. So he's no longer working for them, and I brought this up, and so of course, naturally, I was mocked and a flop at life and everything like that, but I'm not the one being fired from my jobs like every single public job I've had. He's been fired from the Kylie Rodney case. I can just list a litany of cases that he has been fired from, including the Layla Santinello case, even though he keeps trying to act like he's still involved in it. He advocates here. He throws a sign up every now and again, but he's no longer on that case. Just like he's no longer on the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. So how is he going to get his attention when he can't talk about a case? Easy. He talks about the lawsuit. And he thinks he's going to intimidate people out of it. He filed his formal appearance into the case. Interesting. Formal appearance into the case, and we need to worry about it. Like, we've got attorneys, and then you got an unscrupulous UTI. So I think we're all just fine. I think we're all just fine. But I thought it was pretty interesting that, once again, he's been interjecting himself into everything. Nobody's trying to mess with him. As a matter of fact, if he dropped off the face of the earth tomorrow, I don't think anybody's going to make heads or tails of it. I don't think anybody's going to give a shit. I don't think anybody's going to miss the man. Quite frankly, I really just don't. But I digress. He's out here trying to get some attention somehow. So, oh my God, the horrible people. The horrible people. And then he has the audacity. Like, the Lore Lodge gave him an opportunity to speak about the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, advocate for his clients, and gave him the whole time to just talk. And you know what he chose to talk about the entire time? Aiden didn't even challenge him on his answers. He gave him carte blanche to talk about whatever he wanted to on the Lore Lodge in front of thousands. I think there was 4 to 5, maybe 6,000 viewers in that live alone. I know because I was there. And all he did was ask him, I think, like maybe a half a dozen questions in a 2-hour interview. This Yahoo, this unscrupulous UTI, had carte blanche to speak about whatever he wanted. It was his show. Aiden didn't even challenge one answer. And this Yahoo has the audacity to say that the interview was rigged. Because why? He shut his mouth and let you talk? And he tanked the whole entire interview because he showed how unknowledgeable he was, how much of a crackpot he is as an investigator. It was really a poor business card for this unscrupulous UTI, okay? And so now he's got to go out there and try to run a narrative that it was rigged. I challenge everybody to go over to the Lore Lodge and watch that interview, you'll know that this unscrupulous UTI is completely full of it. He gave him every opportunity to speak about whatever he wanted. He let the unscrupulous UTI run the show, and he ran it into the ground. He had no one to blame but himself. But of course, he's a narcissist, so he can't take responsibility for his own poor behavior. It's got to be somebody else. The classic narcissist, right? The classic narcissist. So I ran a video, and this is part of the thumbnail I used. And if you guys want to know, yes, AI created this, and I wanted somebody in a residential community in a common area, right? With dogs and garbage truck men and construction guys. Like, I wanted to make sure we got everybody in the common area, because it goes to the statements. Oh, we're not there yet. It goes to the statements of It's Me, Laura. Did I not grab the statement from It's Me, Laura? Oh, no. Anyways, so It's Me, Laura decides, she's on X, and she decides to list everybody that this unscrupulous UTI has tried to convince people these flashlights were, okay? First, it was the garbage men. Then it was the boyfriend and girlfriend. Then it was a construction person. Then it was a Uber driver person. Then it was somebody walking his dog. Somebody walking to work. And so it's like, It's Me, Laura decides to put this post out, and it was basically, so did we miss anybody? Is everybody accounted for in the common area at 3 a.m. in front, on the side of the Proudfoot's home? Like, how much activity is going on in the middle of the night in the side yard of the Proudfoots at 3 a.m. in the morning? So it does have some comedy associated with the thumbnail, okay? The activity going on at 3 a.m. because it couldn't be the parents. It's got to be everybody else, because they're having a block party at 3 a.m. in the common area next to the Proudfoot home. So we just thought we would uplift this unscrupulous UTI because the ridiculousness of the statements. It's just ridiculous. I'm sorry, it is. And some people forget what it's all about. But we never fail, because Hong is there, right? Hong is there. He never lets us forget. And he always has a response. And it's always some type of hilariousness, okay? So this is his response to the whole situation. Flasher, that's what he calls the unscrupulous UTI, Flasher. Flasher couldn't educate himself out of AA, let alone this. It's a bittersweet day. If he thinks we're going to drop it, he really is stupid. So I think our answer is very clear. The federal RICO case is not going anywhere. And as a matter of fact, we have a coming of the people on February 18th. So we'll see who's moving forward toward the right direction, who isn't. I have a dog in this fight because I'm a plaintiff. And we're going to continue to fight for our right and our people's right to have information free from intimidation, right? We have a right to speak about these cases. We don't have a right to have our entire lives ripped apart because we advocate for a 16-year-old child that went missing under unusual circumstances, and it happens to be his mother. We do not back down. We keep forging ahead, and we fight for victims that no longer have the voice, and sometimes those victims are silenced by their own parents. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is a beautiful 16-year-old boy. He disappeared when he was 15. The beautiful smile behind me. He is 5'5". He's between 110 and 115 pounds. He had black framed glasses. He has light brown hair, dirty blonde hair. He's got brown, some people say possibly hazel eyes. We're going to go with brown. But there is, depending on your eyeballs and what you see, but then we got brown. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Good morning to you, love bug. Good morning to you as well. Guys, don't forget to hit the subscription button And the heart button, and give me a like. I really do appreciate your love and support. Thank you. You can't believe it's been I know. And no, not one bit. There's evidence, Queen. There's evidence. We don't. Oh, thank you, Tina. The problem is where is it? There is evidence. How much of it was collected? Like, there's a mattress pad that searchers found that law enforcement dismissed. I mean, it really has been a tug and pull with law enforcement, especially at the beginning of this case. And now I feel like they're playing catch up, and they shouldn't be in that position. But we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. All I know is I have a theory. If social media can get some of the information that we can get, and we can get corroborated, meaning that we know it's fact, whether or not law enforcement, thank you, me and you, it's nice to see you. Despite law enforcement, what law enforcement tells us, then we know when we start getting that stuff that there's even more that they have. And then that's when the perplexing issues we have come in, because it's like, wait a minute, this is pretty significant circumstantial evidence. What else are they missing? And why can't they? This child has 5 CPS reports for him in a matter of 14 months. This is serious, okay? There were serious things going on behind their closed doors, and now a child is missing. And anybody that has tried to help, look at Matt. Matt's on this platform. He's a sweet boy, just trying to do the right thing by victims of crime. And look what this unscrupulous UTI has done to him. Trying to destroy his reputation and who he is, and if he had an opportunity to get him kicked out of school, he would. Is that a professional, ethical, private investigator? And why is a private investigator so hell-bent on being the next, the Real Housewife on social media? Why is he all about being a social media content creator? Because those two things don't bode ethically with one another. And what do I mean by that? A PI is required confidentiality, not to splatter everything they find on social media. That is literally a violation of that person's license. So why has he been getting away with it for so long? It's because he lied and he manipulated. And we found out he lied on his, which I had been thinking the whole time, but we're finally getting some real hard, cold evidence proving that he lied about his service under another individual. So, and we have all that in our possession, custody, and control. I'm not sure where that's going to go, but I definitely feel moved to reach out to the state of Florida to inform them of the information. This is my state. I'm a political activist here. I believe in law and order, and I believe that lying under oath on a document that gives you special privileges like a PI is a federal crime, in my opinion. But without a doubt, it is fraud. It is perjury. And he's not immune to that. So I don't know what we're going to do, or what I'm personally going to do with that information. I can tell you that. But once I verify and vet stuff, I have people all over the state of Florida. I'm a political activist and advocate here. People know me all over this state. I'm literally at my county meetings several times a week, So if anybody's going to get something done in this state, in the state of Florida, it's going to be Bullhorn Betty. So I'll be working my magic behind the scenes here, but I'm one of those people that I don't hide, and I'm a very transparent person. If I'm coming for your ass, Bullhorn Betty's coming for your ass. And it has nothing to do with making, 18 million freaking accounts, right? I don't need to do that. I have all of my Bullhorn Betty accounts. They're labeled Bullhorn Betty. If you see comments from me, they're me. If you see comments from somebody that sounds like me, they're not me. I'm one of those people that like my name splattered. If I have a problem and I have a comment to make, I like people seeing it say Bullhorn Betty. Okay? I'm one of those type of people. I want my name attached to everything. Everything. I'm not hiding behind fake accounts. When you see something come out of my mouth, it's coming from Bullhorn Betty. Does it look like I'm scared of speaking? Does it look like I really have a problem stepping on somebody's toes or being offensive in any way? Do you think I'm going to hide behind a stupid troll account to speak my mind? I got a platform with 155,000 people on it. Of course not. Of course not. I stand on my own. I own what I do. I don't have to be fake. But trust me, I'm getting and collecting. If you have information on this unscrupulous UTI, send it to Bullhorn Betty. Because I'm trying to expose his lies. I want to make sure he doesn't hurt any more people under the guise of a PI license. If he's lying to the state of Florida, I'm going to make sure he does not have the ability to work in the state of Florida as a PI. So I don't need to hide behind an account or a troll account because I'm saying I'm going to do it. Why would I need a troll account to say I'm going to do it? Right now we're on the Bullhorn Betty channel on TikTok. I'm saying it. Bullhorn Betty. We don't need troll accounts to speak our mind. I don't need troll accounts to speak our mind. The only other account I have is one with my actual lawful legal name on it. Okay? So no matter how you look at it, all of my accounts, you know they're me. Just thought I'd throw that out there because I find it hilarious. I go through some of this stuff and I hear him calling all these people my name and I'm just laughing. It's like, wow. Like they can't get nothing right. If they haven't figured it out yet, Bullhorn Betty, that's me. I love my name. I love what it represents. And I'm damn sure not hiding behind a cowardly troll account. I'm not designed that way, folks, okay? I'm just not designed that way. I wish I could go like that, but maybe it's an ego issue, right? Maybe I'm just arrogant. Maybe that's what it has to do with, because I want people to know that it's me. I just have this thing about me that if I feel a certain way, I want people to know that I'm feeling a certain way. I started watching you during Gabby Keto, and you were who I want on my side if I ever knew. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Who are we talking about? We're talking about the unscrupulous UTI. He's been fired from the case. So the mom and stepdad's private investigator, I heard it started about a week ago or something. I heard, right after those photos dropped that were really bad. It was right after that I got wind that the mom and stepdad were furious. That's what I heard, furious, and wants nothing to do with any of them because they just caused this whole entire crap show. And so I had learned that he was fired at that point. And so naturally I go on to my ex, not a troll ex, by the way. It said Bullhorn Betty, right? And I start splattering that all over social media. I just heard and I'm like, is it true? I heard he's fired, And what happens next is he starts going to mocking and I'm a flop at life and I've got mental health issues and, starts putting this statement that a law enforcement asked me because I was really upset about somebody trying to get into my my financial records. And it was this guy here, this unscrupulous PI. I was actually filing a report against him. And so I was really upset because I was concerned. He had just fraudulently locked my YouTube account down. And he filed a complaint under a woman's name in federal court and thought he was going to get away with it. So I was highly upset, right? And so the officer says something like, well, do you need to go speak to somebody? I'm highly upset. I'm crying. I'm worried about my finances and stuff like that. So they asked me if I need to go speak with somebody. So he's trying to argue, okay? He's trying to argue on X that I'm a liar, a flop at life, and so he attaches this I guess a portion after a complaint against him in Manatee County. I filed a complaint against him, and so he pulls the reports and the officer asked me if I needed to go speak to anybody, like mental health or something like that, and I declined because yes, I'm upset, but I'm not a danger to myself or somebody else. But they have, under the law in the state of Florida, required to ask you, okay? And so he takes this little excerpt and he posts that in to make me look bad because an officer asked me that, which they're required to ask me, and I decline. And so that's his statement to deny that he was fired, that I'm a mental basket case. And you know what he did? He turned around and did the same exact thing to your friend here, Matt. And I think I never can pronounce his name right. I think it's Thibault. I can't pronounce his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. He's a sweet boy that goes to school, that just uses social media to advocate for victims of crime. He's got no dog in the fight. But Thibodeau, thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Yes. And so he started attacking him and calling him a mental basket case. So this is his go-to language every time he tries to discredit somebody. And Matt, I gotta be honest with you, is probably one of the nicest people. Like, I meet some of the nicest people on this app, and people that are truly trying to work for the betterment of the true crime community and the victims of crime. And then to have him attack, but you know what? What it does prove is that this is the unscrupulous UTI's playbook. Right? It's his playbook. He's the one that keeps getting fired. He's the one that's doing unscrupulous things. He's the one doing unethical things. He's the one doing unprofessional things. And when people call it out, all of a sudden, you're the problem. That is the most narcissistic behavior I've ever heard of in my life. He doesn't get into the drama. He stays within the facts. Exactly. And then this unscrupulous PI is trying to pull him into the drama and trying to criticize him. He's a kid going to school. He's a good kid. And this Yahoo, this bonehead, doesn't care who he hurts, who he tries to destroy, as long as he tries to come out smelling like a rose, even though his is all of Assad. This unscrupulous PI's got some things wrong with him, because nobody acts like this unless there's something seriously wrong with them. Go on his channel. It's never his fault. He never makes any mistakes. He's a perfect human being with such a foul, disgusting mouth and behavior, and doesn't mind committing crimes, federal crimes as well. And this is who was hired by Chris and Katie Proudfoot to represent them and their son. No shit. Please don't forget to bring antibiotics when watching. Thank you, me and you. You're cute. So if you guys haven't followed me here on TikTok, hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss anything. I love true crime. I love helping people, but I'm just one of those people that come from a rough life, that turn my life around, half holy, half hood. I don't mind getting down there in those ditches and getting down and dirty. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like being there. I don't like having to go there, right? I just expect people to handle themselves appropriately. But to be honest with you, I love all people, but you really don't want to step on Bullhorn Betty's toes. And trust me, when you do step on my toes, I ain't hiding behind an alt account. You're going to know Bullhorn Betty's up your ass, and I ain't stopping until I'm done with my work. So that's just how we roll over here. It's not to be offensive or anything like that. It's just, you know what? Either join me and fight for these people, or get the fuck out of my way, because I'm going to move you up out of my way. Okay? That's just how I roll. If I am posed with a problem, I go over, under, or around. And if I can't, I kick the frickin' door down. Okay? That's just how I know to handle business, right? I do it lawfully. I do it legally. And we fight for these victims. And that's why so many people come knocking on my door when these cases are breaking apart, because there's nobody that's going to back down. I know that I handle myself lawfully and legally. And as long as I continue to handle myself lawfully and legally, there's not a judge or a law enforcement body in this entire United States that can stop that. Period. Because you have to break the law in order to get them involved. And everything I do very, very narrowly in the Constitution, the very first amendment of our Constitution. And I study the crap out of laws in every state I go to, down to their public easements. Because I want to know exactly where I can walk, where I can step, and where I can push my limits, right? Because let's face it, people don't like being told to sit down and shut up. And sometimes when we come into the communities, they don't really have a choice, because we are lawfully, legally, and able to be there under the Constitution. We are allowed to gather. We're allowed to peacefully gather. We're allowed to raise our voices. We're allowed to hold our government accountable. We're allowed to do all of that. And I do it. And I do it very skillfully and very lawfully and legally. And when we are put in a position, we fight, and we fight back hard. The situation that I'm put in right now, if it needs to go to the Supreme Court, that's where it's going to go. We're not stopping until we're vindicated, because I do study the law. I practice within the law. When I'm out there, I'm on public property or in my own personal private property. They have that's government overreach at its finest. And so we're going to keep fighting this. We're going to keep going down this road, and hopefully we're vindicated in this county where I should be vindicated in. But if they can't handle it, then we'll just move it out of their hands and put it into somebody else's hands that will make a rational decision based upon law. I mean, it'd be different if I did not study this specific county ordinances in this community. It would be different if I didn't, if I broke the law in this community. But when I don't even get a speeding ticket and I get a restraining order over 30 days later saying that they're in fear for their life, yet I have never been back to that state except once, and it was for 3 days, and I was all over that state, it's kind of hard. They lied under oath, and I can't wait for my day to prove how much they lied and how they weaponized their own legal system against me. And I'm waiting for my day. That day will be April 2nd. April 2nd will be that day. So I can't get there fast enough. I'm very thankful that I have an opportunity. And this process has cost a lot of money. And it was from my sponsors as well as contributions from my own personal bank account that is funding this. But God is good, and God is going to make sure that we have what we need to get through this time and this process. But at the end of the day, all of this, if we can't bring him home, it's all in vain. We need to bring Sebastian home. There's a lot of us that put a lot on the line for this child, and we're not going to stop until he's brought home. They better bury me under the jail, because I ain't stopping looking. Just saying. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. Thanks for hanging out with me this Saturday. I hope you guys had an amazing and love-filled Valentine's Day. Let's bring Sebastian home. Let's advocate for Sebastian. And let's stay away from the unscrupulous UTI and any of his bullshit. Because that's what it is. It's a whole bunch of bullshit. I don't like cussing, but it's Saturday. We'll pray tomorrow. Not like that's what we're supposed to be doing, but hey, whatever. It's a work in progress with me and my swear words, okay? I'm not the worst, but I do have a slight sailor problem. That's all. Just a small smidgen of sailor issues. Have a great day. We'll see you later.